Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. I am so excited to have both of you here. We're going to just wait a few minutes for people to join, and then we'll get started, okay?
Awesome. We're here.
Awesome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
It was nice weather,
Well,
finally.
I know recess was amazing. Not too cold. We don't have to bundle up to go out, so that was nice.
Yes, that is exciting, especially for the kids. They finally get to
Yes.
be outside comfortably.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
mm-hmm. So you had recess. So what school are you at?
I'm an ambassador's preparatory in Galveston.
My kids used to go to that school.
Yes, I'm there. I'm there.
Oh,
Third grade
nice.
ELA.
You're in third grade?
Yes.
Exciting. That's a fun, like, they're becoming their own little people with their thoughts and
Yes.
opinions.
Yes. Definitely. Definitely.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I know. It's so much fun, though.
It
It's so
is.
much fun seeing them, like, grow. Just seeing them grow.
Yes.
Okay, I guess let's get started. Okay.
Okay.
I want to welcome everyone to I'm okay. We're gonna try that again. Hi everyone, I'm Cora Harper and I am the program coordinator for Nia Culture Center and welcome to today's live read-in. And we would love to welcome Miss KaTrina and Miss Katie. They are both local authors that are here to share a bit of their stories. And so, Nia Culture Centers and the African Read In, the purpose of this evening basically is to educate and empower our children and our families. We're all about families. None of the work we do would be possible without the support of the broader community. The mission of Nia Culture Center is to reinstate the role of the family and community in their responsibility to strengthen and improve the quality of life for our children by preparing them academically, culturally, mentally, and physically, and to attain productive futures. To this end, the children will be torch barriers towards progress. The National African American Read In is a groundbreaking effort to encourage communities to read together, centering African American books and authors. It was established in 1990 by the Black Caucus of the National Council of Teachers of English to make literacy a significant part of Black History Month. This initiative was reached more than 6 million participants around the world. That was a lot, but guys, thank you so much for your patience with me.
Oh
Uh,
no.
so I am actually going to invite you, Miss KaTrina. We're going to start with Miss KaTrina, and then we're going to go with Miss Katie. And so I just want to share, have you guys share a little bit about your backgrounds, if that's possible.
Okay. So I am Katrina Williams Nichols. I was born and raised in Galveston, Texas. I attended LA Morgan, Austin Middle School, and then I graduated from Ball High School. Once I graduated from Ball High, I attended Jarvis Christian College in Hawkins, Texas. It is a small HBCU that is soon to be a university. And
Right.
once I graduated there, I came back to Galveston and I subbed in Galveston and Hitchcock for a while. And now I'm teaching at Ambassadors Preparatory Academy. I'm also married and I don't have children, but I have a small pup. And well, she's an old lady now, but she's my baby. And just recently, last year, my mom started writing her own book and one day I just kind of popped in and I was like, we need to do something like with a princess. we need to do something for kids. And so we kind of chatted a little bit, and so we were scrolling, and we saw the most beautiful illustration that we had seen of a character. And so the illustrator was like, "This is Nina. I had a somebody else won the project, but you know she's still special to me." I said, "Well, Mama, why don't you ask her if she's still available?" She said, "I'm not doing that." I said, "Give me the tablet." So I wrote the illustrator, and she let us know that Nina at that time was still available. And so we said, "Give us a little bit. We're going to have a manuscript together." And so we just got busy writing from there. Um, and it was very interesting because we wanted to empower and inspire little girls, not just African American little girls, but all little girls to be their own type of princess and to really explore different things that were not typical careers or situations that princesses or girly girls would be in, and they just need to be their own type of princess. You can be girly if you want to, but if you want to get a little rough and play, you have the opportunity to do that as well. So that's how we got going with it.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. So we are going to have you guys share readings from your books. Okay. And so we're going to start with Miss KaTrina, and then
Okay.
we'll go with Miss Katie. Okay.
Okay. So our first title is Zarya Not Your Regular Princess. And so this was the book that we started with. And so I'll get into it. Zarya Not Your Regular Princess. Huh. I'm Zarya, and I'm a princess, but not a regular princess. I like to do things that regular princesses don't do. When it rains, I like to step in mud puddles and make mud pies. Sometimes I get messy, and Grandma says, Zarya, princesses don't get messy. And I tell her, Grandma, I am not a regular princess. When I help my dad fix his truck, oil and dirt gets everywhere. When my mama sees the mess all over me, she says, Zaria, you're a mess. Princesses don't get dirty. I tell her, Mama, I am not a regular princess. While other girls like to be cheerleaders, I want to be a football player. They say, Zarya, princesses don't play football. I say, well, I'm not a regular princess. A house in our neighborhood caught on fire. We saw a gigantic red fire truck with loud sirens blaring and big, strong firemen. I told my friend Tia I wanted to be a firefighter. She said, Zarya, I thought you were a princess. I replied, yeah, I am, but not a regular princess. When it was career day at school, an astronaut came. When he asked who would like to be an astronaut one day, I raised my hand. My friend John whispered, I frowned and replied, oh yeah, just watch. I am not a regular princess. We flew to Hawaii on vacation. The captain allowed me in the cockpit, my eyes widened with excitement. Princess Zarya, flying passengers through the friendly sky. I know it's something that guys normally do, but I'm not a regular princess. I read a book about biochemist Emmett Chappell. In my mind, I pondered, could it be? Yes, indeed. A princess, but not a regular princess. Princess Zarya, the biochemist, that's me. Pow, bang, yah, Captain Troy saves the day. When I see Captain Troy save the people from the bad guys, I take my favorite cuddle blanket and make my very own superhero cape and pretend that I'm saving the world too. Princess Zarya, the princess that is not a regular princess, saves the day. My parents allowed me to go with them to cast their votes. I had no idea what they were voting on. The only thing I ever voted on is if we would have inside or outside recess. And all I had to do was raise my hand. So when we arrived at the polling station, I asked, Mama and Daddy, what are you guys voting on? They explained they were voting on many things, one of them being the President of the United States of America, the person that will live in the White House and lead our country for at least the next 4 years. Could you imagine Princess Zarya living in the White House, leading the country? I know it's something that guys normally do, but get ready, world. Princess Zarya, the princess that's not a regular princess, could be your president soon. So remember that even if you're a princess, you can still be anything you want to be. And thank you all for listening.
That was such a great story.
Thank you.
I love the illustrations.
Thank you so much. The
No-
illustrator really, she captured our thoughts. Like we didn't even have to give a lot of direction with it. We sent her the manuscript and we were just truly blown away with how she just pulled the concepts together.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it absolutely came together beautifully.
Thank you.
Okay. So we are going to go to your mother, Miss
Okay.
Katie's
So while
room.
you all chat with her, I'll grab her thing. So there is another Zaria
Oh,
that's out. There's a part two, and then we also have her solo project, which is just for me. So while you guys chat, I'll grab that and come back.
oh, awesome. That's exciting. Hello, Miss Katie. How are you doing today? Miss Katie?
My mic is okay. I just turned my mic back on. Okay, I'm here.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. That's such a lovely story you guys created.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what made you, while we wait, I might as well ask some questions. And so
That's
what
fine.
inspired you to start writing?
Well, I'm a retired teacher now,
Mm-hmm.
and I did teach. I taught writing,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the ways to teach writing, we used short picture books so the kids could get the idea of a story.
Mm-hmm.
We would read to them short picture books, and then give them what it was that we wanted them to write on. And that's just the way I've always taught writing. I read a story, let them look at the adjectives, how it's put together, listen to the voice and how it's done, and then try and recreate that in their writing. And so while I was doing that, I was thinking, I could do this.
Mhm.
And
That's
I told myself once I retired that I would write children's books. And I mean, I was retired quite a few years before I started, but I'm an accomplished author now.
yes, you are. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What and are you from Galveston as well?
No, I'm not. My home is a little bitty town in East Texas. I'm from
Yeah.
Grove, Texas. Probably never heard of it, but I grew up in Groveton. It's
Hmm.
only schools, elementary, junior high, and high school. And I graduated from Groveton High School. I also attended Jarvis Christian College, where I graduated, and I went back home and taught for 3 years before I came to Galveston and taught for like 27 years, all
Oh,
at LA Morgan.
oh,
I
L.A. Morgan.
excuse me.
You were a teacher at L.A. Morgan for
Yes, I
27
was.
years.
Yes, I was. And I
That's
stayed there
beautiful.
so long. I tell people I taught my grandkids because I did teach children of children that I taught, and I found that so rewarding.
I bet. I bet. Wow, what a commitment you made for all the children in Galveston. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, since we have KaTrina back, I am going to see. Are you ready to start your reading, Miss
I,
Katie?
I am. Well, so I'll read it since my camera is going.
Okay, cool.
Um, so this is her solo project,
Hmm.
and this is just for me.
Beautiful.
Trying to figure a camera out for you.
Mhm.
Okay, so here we go with just for me. It was Tuesday afternoon, and Katie completed her homework and chores. She finally had some time to play her video game. Then she heard her mother call her name. Katie's heart sank. She knew what that meant. She had overheard her mother and sisters talking earlier, and mom had told the older girls to go through their clothes and take out some things that were too small. Katie knew she was in the front of the line for hand-me-downs. Katie walked slow as a turtle from the living room to the bedroom she shared with her older sisters. When Katie entered the room, she saw her mother and sisters, Kayla and Naya. Why can't I have new clothes too? She whined. They always get new clothes, she thought. Her mother admonished, Katie, don't be that way. These are perfectly good clothes, but your sisters have outgrown them. We can't afford to buy new things for everyone at this time. Katie's mother put her arms around Katie in an attempt to comfort her. Now be a sweetie and go through this pile of clothes on the bed and see what fits. On Wednesday, Katie was so excited she had butterflies in her stomach. It was the day of the science fair, and her group had done an excellent job on their project. Mrs. Collier had put students in groups, and they each had a part in putting the project together. When the judges walked around, they seemed to stand longer at Katie's group's project. When judging was over, her group had won first place. One big blue ribbon. Katie was disappointed. She wanted her own ribbon, one just for her. Mrs. Collier displayed the ribbon on the board with the name of each member of the group. Of course, Katie wanted a ribbon just for her, but she didn't get it. Thursday evening, Katie asked her mom if she could spend the weekend at her granny's house. Her mom said yes without hesitation. So Katie sat the rest of the evening with dreamy eyes and a cheerful smile. She was overjoyed about spending the weekend with Granny. She was excited about being away from her older sisters, who were going to a slumber party. She was even more excited to spend quality time with her grandma. When she arrived at Granny's house, she ran and gave her a big hug for an extra long time. Granny's hugs always seemed to make her feel better. They had a greater bond because she was named after her granny. Dear heart, put your things away and meet me in the kitchen. We have a great weekend planned. When Katie met her granny in the kitchen, she was sitting at the table peeling apples. I'm going to make those apple turnovers you love so much. Katie loved to watch her granny peel anything. The spiral of the hull seemed to never break. It spiraled like a slinky. Well, dear heart, tell me what's been going on. Katie replied, well, I hate being the youngest because I always get hand me downs. I want something just for me. Everyone but me got new clothes, and I got everyone's hand me downs. But my group got first place in the science fair. Well, that's great, said Granny. Only guess what? Katie continued. What, dear heart? There was only one blue ribbon, so Miss Collier hung it up with the names of each person in the group. Well, dear heart, there's a lot of people in this great big old world, so I guess you better just learn to share. When the apples were washed and boiled, Granny let Katie mash the apples and help roll the dough for the turnovers. That night after supper, Katie and Granny sat on the porch watching fireflies play tag with each other and ate their favorite homemade vanilla ice cream with tangy apple turnovers. Granny, you're the best. Oh no, dear heart, you're the best. The next day, the next day after breakfast, Granny pulled out a bag of old clothing from her bedroom closet and seemed to be sorting them. Katie sighed. Oh no, Granny, not you too. Are you fixing to give me hand-me-downs also? No, dear heart, I'm getting ready to make a quilt. I use pieces of old things to make something new. Some of these clothes belong to your mom and her sisters when they were younger. Granny, did you wear hand-me-downs, Katie asked? Dear heart, there's nothing wrong with wearing clothes that have been worn before. Yes, my whole family shared and wore clothes that had been worn. My family was glad to get different clothes, even if they had been worn before. But Granny, I want something just for me, not to have to share everything. After sorting through old clothing, Granny started cutting old shirts and dresses up into squares. Granny had an old tin cookie container filled with buttons from clothing. Granny taught Katie how to remove the buttons using a seam ripper, and that became Katie's job. Granny, where did you get all these buttons from? Oh, dear heart, from other old clothing and years of making quilts. Katie sifted through what looked like hundreds of colorful buttons, red, yellow, blue, violet, and many other colors. She was mesmerized by the shapes and textures as well. After church Sunday, Katie and her granny ate crispy fried chicken, mashed potatoes with gravy, and seasoned collard greens. There was also a German chocolate cake for dessert. Katie helped clean the kitchen after dinner and went to pack her things, preparing to go home. Home. Home is where she had to share everything again. She enjoyed the times it was just she and her grandma. The next week went by like a blur. Saturday would be Katie's eighth birthday. She knew there was not enough money for a party, but she knew her mother would do something to make the day special. She could hardly sleep Friday night. All day, Katie was excited for something special. Everyone had told her happy birthday, but was there more? After lunch, nothing happened, and she was feeling a little disappointed. Katie went to the bedroom that she shared with her sisters and laid across the bed. She hoped she could take a nap and forget about her birthday. She soon fell asleep and was awakened by her mom calling her name. When she walked into the living room, everyone shouted, "Surprise!" There was the whole family, her mom, sisters, and even Granny. There were colorful streamers and balloons and a big birthday cake. What a surprise! The best surprise was when Granny handed Katie a gift box and told her to look inside. Inside, there was a beautiful quilt. That's just for you, dear heart. My own beautiful quilt, just for me. And you're muted.
Thank you. That was such amazing. And it was the same illustrator as well?
It's the same illustrator. As long as God blesses us all to be here,
Yeah.
anytime we write, we'll definitely be using her.
Oh, that's amazing. I love the way they look, way the stories that you're telling are so inspiring.
Thank
Um,
you.
they're amazing.
Thanks.
Oh, okay. So that was Miss Katie's single project?
That was her by herself.
Yes.
And so those are
Beautiful. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
go ahead, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh
I
no,
was
you're
just going to
fine.
ask her a couple of questions
Okay.
about that particular book. Miss Katie, where did you come up with like, what inspired you for your character for that book?
Um, I'm not. um, I just started writing one day. And I,
Yeah.
I didn't, the name was not supposed to be Katie, but
Oh.
when I started writing, I needed a name to put in there. So I
Mhm.
did put my name in there. And after I got so far in the story, I realized my mistake, because then I would have to go all the way in there in every little part to change the name. And what if I missed a spot? What if I left Katie
Mhm.
someplace and changed it? And everybody told me, leave it like it is. And so that's what I did.
Oh wow. Um,
I, no,
go ahead, Miss
it is her
Tina.
story, but I think that to me, it kind of reminds me of my mom's story. My mom had way more siblings. And so I don't know, I liked it because I could just imagine my grandmother um, did quilt, and she made quilts for all of us. We all received quilts for graduating. There were so many of us that she never wanted to shortchange, and money was short. So she just made sure that she was able to give us something. So when she knew we were graduating, she quilted literally just for us our special graduation quilts. So when I look at her story, I look at the fact that my mom was one of many, and she had older sisters. There's only one sister under her. And so when I think about what I know from them growing up, it just, to me, it connects so much with her. And I didn't want her to change it because she did have a grandma Katie too. So it's like, it, even though the story wasn't necessarily about her, she's like, this isn't about me. And I was like, it sounds like your autobiography. And it just
It
seems so
really
much,
did
like her
talk
dad and
about me.
my grandmother did all those things. Like she quilted and she did have the buttons and all those things. But that wasn't the connection for my mom. But when I look at it and I think about it, it reminds me so much of her, my grandmother.
It reminds a little of it, but it definitely was not about me.
Just very nostalgic aspects.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
When I know, Miss Katie, you told me how you kind of your story of how you wanted to become an author. But what
Mhm.
about you, Katrina?
I never aspired to be an author.
When did you know that you wanted to be an author?
um, well, I didn't. I never wanted to. To be honest, I wasn't
Mhm.
even a reader when I was younger. That's something I wanted to share with some of the parents. My mom had such a hard time to get me to read, and so I remember her talking to family friends, and she was like, "Oh well, just take them and let them get magazines. They have to find what's interesting to them." And so we would go, and I would get like Word Up magazines and be able to read articles on young artists and
Yeah.
stuff. So it made me excited about it. Through my mom teaching reading, and I do have to say this, Eric Court is he he's a writer. He does writing workshops for schools all over the world,
Mhm.
and he's done amazing things. So between listening to my mom and Eric Court with the writing workshops that we had when I was in fourth grade, I've always enjoyed writing, but I never imagined myself to actually be an author. It just kind of like happened with that little conversation with my mom. And so when I thought about it, the books that I did enjoy reading, I felt like it was so important for kids to have that escape. It's that one thing where when you're reading, the books should captivate you, and they should take you out of whatever it is you're thinking or feeling at the moment. And so after I talked to my mom about the character, and she was already in the process of becoming an author, it just I just kind of decided, okay, I guess I better strap up. We're on this journey together, because she was already writing, so I started writing with her. But it was never in my mind to be an author.
Another thing is representation. A lot of times you don't find books about little black girls or little black boys. And I wanted us to be represented. I wanted little black girls to have an option of what book they chose. And if they wanted to choose a book about somebody that looked like them, I wanted that book to be there.
I love that. I love both aspects. I love that you want little girls to have something that represents them and something that they can relate to, which you're right is very hard to come by these days.
Right, right.
But we're so appreciative of your your art and your, you sharing your creativity with us. Um, Miss Katie, how did you go from having an idea for a book to getting it published?
Oh gosh. I belong to 100 different groups on Facebook, and it's about writing.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, I would just go in and just kind of be like a fly on the wall. I didn't know what to ask, but I would read everything everybody write. And then I started having those same questions, but if everything was just kind of spelled out to me. And I just kind of started doing what they said, first do this. And there is always somebody that's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. Some people are kind of scarish and will run away from your questions, but there's always somebody that will tell you step by step. And I just started reading what they say do. And I did it. And I went through self-publishing, but there's just, you write it and you need an editor, and the biggest portion is finding an illustrator and finding somebody that can capture exactly what it is you want.
You're muted. It's okay.
Thanks, guys. Well, you guys did an amazing job finding an illustrator to, bring your
Thank you.
story to life.
And for
I'm very
aspiring
grateful. You know
writers,
how they say, you know
for
how they say
aspiring,
you have to kiss a lot of frogs before you get. I went through some. I spent a lot of money on some stuff that I could not use. And then I found
it takes work. That's what I was about to say.
it.
For aspiring, at least children's book authors, um, you have to really do your research. There are a lot of people that will, make promises, and you have to put yourself on both hands. So you're the author, you're looking for an illustrator you can trust. You have illustrators that have had authors to say, "Oh, can I just have a couple of samples of this?" And the illustrators also deal with, like being cheated. So it's like we were so blessed to finally come across our unique situation, um, to find our illustrator. But just be careful, check your resources, check for their portfolios. You want to like Google their images, do a reverse Google search, because sometimes you'll find that it's simply clip art, or you'll find that artwork attached to several different artists. So don't grow weary in your search, but you don't want to just jump into the very first thing you find. You really have to take your time. And we were very, very blessed and fortunate to come across our illustrator, because she has been nothing short of amazing.
And good luck to your daughter, Cora. Good luck to your daughter in her writing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
She's loved to write ever since she was little. So I'm happy she found something she's passionate about
That's
in
right.
regards to literature. Okay, I have another question. Um,
Okay.
what role do Black authors play in the world of literature?
They have to tell the story. They have to get it out there. They have to do what I just said. They have to represent. Our babies want somebody that look like them. And we have to do that. If those books are not being put out there, then we have to put it out there so that they can have that. It's up to us. If not us, who?
Yeah, the representation is really big. So before I just kind of did like some little hand and footwork myself to promote the book. So I had bookmarks, and I would go out and pass out the bookmarks with QR codes, and not just to African American little girls and their families, but just to all people. And so the little girls would see the bookmarks, or they would see Zaria, and they say, "Oh, Mama, she looks like me." One little girl's like, "Is that me?" And so they need to see those things, and they need to know that it's okay if Disney doesn't give us this big flowy dress. I can still have my tutu, I have my tiara, and I'm still a princess, and not just about a princess, but in any capacity. They just you have to see yourself in it to really, get lost in it and go on those adventures. And so our little girls and children deserve that as well. We can't hear you. You're muted again.
At this point, it's a game we're playing, guys. It's just, we should just expect it at this
It's okay.
point. So, okay, I love that. I love your answers, and you guys are so right. Like us to be represented is very important, and to tell our story is very important. Okay, so your next question is, what is something you hope to accomplish with your work?
um, exactly what we were just talking about. Not I wanted with Zaria, the first book, it was just inspiring little girls to just not be regular. It's okay, like you don't have to be prim and proper. So that was my first thing, just to inspire all little girls. But I want little girls to see themselves in our books,
I
and I
want to.
want them to see that.
I want to be an award winner. I don't think that's going to happen like right now. I've got a lot of growing to do, but I'm willing to keep writing and to, because I read a lot of other children books and say, oh wow, that's good. One book that's on my heart that I don't want to copy that book, but there's a book called The Hula Hooping Queen, and I am so in love with that book, and I listened to it. I want to write a book like that. But there's so much you have to do to prepare. And that was one thing I wanted to say, and I can't. It's leaving me. But anyway, that's one of my favorite books, and I want to write a book similar to that. And you just keep going. You have to read a lot of books, and you just read and keep going. And I
Yeah.
have several that I've started. And I've heard people say, oh, I've been working on that book for so many years. And I mean, I don't think it'll take me a bunch of years, but I do have several that I've started, but I had to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get back to them.
Cool. Um, wow. Okay, so um, who specifically is your work designed to reach or to speak to?
Mine is
Um,
just children, period. Children from, I would say, uh, 3 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, little kids may not care anything about that, but up to fifth grade anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I have thought about the junior books to, but I'm not ready for that yet. Chapter books.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for a chapter book yet.
okay. So like I said, I'm starting because my books are the books that we co-wrote were the Zaria books, and I do want to continue her series. It started to be African American little girls. children of color, but children's books altogether. But it's like such a big deal for I feel like African American authors to create the African American content because a lot of times you may have somebody of different ethnicities that are painting our stories or they're telling our stories in different ways and I think that it's important for us to tell the stories for the African American children and all children because we are children's book authors. But I really want the African American children to be able to see themselves in our work.
Also, I had a couple of other books. One is called Lizzie on the Inside, and the other one is Timothy Turtle Takes a Tumble. So it's not always about children,
Yeah.
these books. And I have to tell you, my inspiration for Lizzie on the Inside, the turtle,
Mhm.
um, KaTrina opened the back door to the house and a lizard got in. And she was running around trying to catch it. And she said, Mama, that's a good idea to write a story. Write a story about a lizard that gets in a house. And so Lizzie on the Inside was born.
Yeah, I told her, I said, I feel like my dog would, when I opened the door to let her out, she would like stop and raise her paw. The lizard would run in and she would go out to use the bathroom. And I was like stuck trying to catch the lizard. So it didn't happen just once. It was like 2 or 3 times in like 3 weeks, like consecutive. I said, now I really think that she has a friend in this lizard. I think they have something set up. So you could tell this story from a lot of different perspectives. It could be told from the perspective of a lizard that is wanting to get in. It could be the dog that, finds a friend in this lizard. And so he wants to protect the lizard from, whatever's outside. Or it could be from the perspective of the child that is the owner of this dog and he knows about their friendship. So Lizzie could have gone any way, but I think that it was great to tell it from the perspective of the lizard.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Is there anything you guys would like the audience to know about your your
So we have a Facebook page that is the Kalo Ring Book Connection, and I can send you that information so that followers or people that may be interested could follow our Facebook page. Excuse me. So what we chose to do was one page that would be able to capture all of our titles. So you don't have to go to each book's page to get information. So we did the Kalo Ring Book Connection because our middle names are both Lorene, and our first names both start with K's. So it just kind of works that it's our setup. And so all of our titles are there. If it's okay if I can show the covers that we have.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Zaria. This is the first Zaria book.
Mhm.
And Zaria 2 is really great. And this is definitely the season for it because it's Zaria and a Sprinkle of Love. Somewhere trying to get it. Okay. And something interesting for any parents that are looking, we know that Mardi Gras season is coming up. So this it's really interesting. It's a great story. But if you can see it, I don't know. Can't tell what my camera is. So it's great. It's around the time we have Valentine's Day right here, and Mardi Gras season is right around the corner. It's really a great read. And of course, we did Just for Me and my mom's solo project, Timothy Turtle Takes a Tumble, and Lizzie on the Inside. So all those things can be found there. As far as us, for aspiring writers, just do it. Take your time. There's no marathon, like you don't have to race to do this. Just take your time, do it at your own pace. Everybody's journey, everybody's story is substantially different. Like my mom said, some people take 3 years to write a book. Some people take a month or less. I mean, it's up to you. Take your time, read, ask questions, and for children, Anywhere you want to go, you can go. It's in a book. Just start reading and you can escape whatever it is that you're going through, wherever you are. Just jump into reading and you can explore so many great things and have wonderful adventures, even if you're just at home.
I would like to encourage parents to get material for your children to read. You don't have to buy my books. You don't have to buy any books. Take them to the library, but reading is so, so, so important. And it helps so much. You would not believe just reading a little a day how much that will help your child to do better in reading. Read to them, have them read to you. Maybe one night just have a read around and each person read a paragraph and do whatever, but just have them read.
I like that a lot. A lot. I like that read around thing a lot. Where can we find your books to purchase?
So if you're local, we do have some copies, but Amazon is there, and it's usually 1 day or 2 day shipping. It's a print on demand type situation. So whenever you order it, they're printing it and it's coming directly to you. They're all the titles are available on Amazon. So if you can type in one of the titles or you can type in one of our names and it'll pull up all the other titles. And we can also send links. And if you like the Kayla Ream Book Connection, the links will also be on the Facebook page and it's public. So even if you don't have a Facebook account, you'll still be able to view the page and get the links and order there.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, that's all of my questions. Thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure everyone else does, especially all those little kids. You guys are inspiring.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate the opportunity. It's really great. We're still new to it all and learning a lot, but we were definitely thrilled and appreciative of the opportunity to share with you all on tonight.
Absolutely. And Miss Katie, would you like to take us out with some closing words?
Read, read to babies and read to them. It's so important. It's so important, and have them write.
Yeah.
Have them start writing. You can just write a sentence and then tell them how to make it a better sentence by adding adjectives to
Mm.
it. Just the man walked, the old man walked. Just add a little to, or did he walk? It doesn't take much to become a writer. It doesn't. It's just making a mind movie.
Yeah, you start and then you build to get better. And so if I may really quickly, so I share with my students that we can have a little bite, a little burger that has just a little bit of nothing. So how would you feel if you just got bread and a bun? It's like,
Yeah.
a bun and a piece of meat. And they're like, ugh. I said, no, we want everything, right? So you want to have your bacon and your mayonnaise or mustard, tomato, your cheese, your bacon. I said, we have to build it up. You don't want to just give a little sentence. You always want it to be the best that you can be. So you want to give everything when you're describing or you're telling your story. You want to capture all that stuff. We don't want to have just a little dry burger. You got to really juice up your stories. And so that's how I get them to write a little bit more and to be more descriptive and use more adjectives and synonyms and just spice up your work, spruce it up a little bit. Give more than just the regular stuff.
I think we had technical difficulties for a
Oh
second.
no. Oh, it's okay. Well, I tell my kids to like, we don't just do like regular little burgers that just have buns and a patty. So
Mhm.
I tell them, let's go big. We need our meat, we need the cheese, you want your bacon and your lettuce and your mustard or mayo, whatever it is that you want to use. But we definitely want to make our stuff juicy. You want to use all your adjectives and synonyms. Don't be regular. It's okay to know regular stuff, but you always want to go a notch above in the things that you say. So it's really important for them to learn their synonyms and antonyms and how to just kind of spruce things up, especially with their adjectives. So that was really big for me. And my mom did a lot of it. So that inspired me just in writing in general. And Eric quote too. He was just really amazing in teaching us in writing.
That's amazing. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. And again, you guys can find their books on Amazon and their Facebook page, which is
Lorraine Book Connection.
perfect. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. And I
Thank
hope you have
you.
a great evening, everyone.
All right.
You too,
Thank you
Miss
so much. We
Katie.
appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.